Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I am Chris.
I am Audra.
And I am Lourdes.
And I am Ron Yacovetti, Tony, and Sheree Rathman. I have whole podcast personality syndrome.
Parapolar.
Yeah. We'll wait while the audience goes and looks it up on WebMD.
Symptoms? Do I have symptoms?
How are you guys?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're still taking it easy for the month.
Which I'm happy.
Yeah.
Don't
You
blame
look
you.
refreshed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard too because it's we have so many people that we love to work with, and like things come up and like, hey, if you're not doing anything, or hey, you can do this and that, and like we spent last weekend, we had my son here, and we miss. You guys know, you guys are as family oriented as it gets. We miss doing that when we can't, but we love when we do what we do.
Right.
So we took the month to kind of chill. So yeah, so for folks watching, we were joking around, but if you remember last week, Sheree was a little under the weather, and this week it's Tony's turn to be under the weather. So we hope he's feeling better.
Yeah.
They are both sorely missed when they're not here.
Of course.
But
so feel better, guys.
we'll try to do him proud. So
We
far,
will.
I probably failed at that, but we'll keep trying.
And I will try and get to your comment as much as possible without Tony here. Usually we're both doing, I'm playing the
Bits
clips,
and
Tony's
pieces.
doing the comments, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And without him here, it's going to be a little crazy, but it's okay.
We'll try to help out with shout outs too. For example,
Yeah.
Chris Nuara of Trinity Paranormal just showed up and he said, "What's up?"
Which is kind of.
Let's want to know what we
It
did with
is.
the ratlins. They're stuffed in a closet somewhere. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Mr. Scott Reddick.
So, hey, I want to give a big shout out to Scott Reddick with PPIT. It is his 49th birthday.
Woo! One more year in the
That's right. Scott, this is his Scott is ex-law enforcement and a current EMT in North Carolina. And this guy is so dedicated to the paranormal, it's insane. He's a great dude. Happy birthday, brother.
Yep. Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
good dude, brilliant guy. Another mind that is making it hard for people to deny the quality of research being done in the field when you have people like that are added to the collection of us. So.
And if you can look them up, those guys are doing some phenomenal stuff up in the Winston-Salem area of North Carolina, and they just did a new website for their group, and the website is just phenomenal, man. I just looked at it before the show.
Good.
That's cool.
Doing really good.
Yep.
Good group. Happy birthday, Scott.
Trying to work on redoing our website too. We had it done. Someone helped us out and did it a couple of years ago, and it's got this whole outer space theme thing going on. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not an astronaut.
Yeah, I was working on my website, but nobody wanted pictures of my feet. So
Good stuff. Feet.
all right, guys, we have a phenomenal guest tonight. We have a gentleman that Ron is very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
A gentleman named Adam Knoedler. He is a paranormal investigator, and he started the S.I.U group in
S.I.U. actually.
S.I.U. Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
sorry.
I'm a little dyslexic. Always have been, always will be.
Me too.
It's the Supernatural Investigation Unit and the owner of Supernatural Production Media.
Oh, cool.
And he was also a big influence in getting Ron started in the paranormal. So this gentleman means a lot to the paranormal.
Absolutely.
And he produced this gentleman here. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Everybody say hi to Adam.
And the hate mail comes in. There he is.
Hey, Adam.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. How are you?
A lot better than last year, that's for sure.
Last
Yeah,
Last
we're
year.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get into that, aren't we? In my
Yes, we are.
last year, this time, this is where I was suffering my whole spirit infestation.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, so now
Yeah,
you got to go.
we're definitely going to get into that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good time to get him on because he's back in the saddle. He's one of those guys that will walk away on his terms only. He won't be forced or bullied out of the field against his will. So when I started, I lived in California. I lived in Burbank most recent before I came back to New Jersey, and Adam was running investigations out of Pasadena. And before we were even together, I was going to his public events when I was, pretty damn new at doing this. And he was one of the people I learned how to deal and to treat the public, to give them a good experience, to make them feel welcome, show them how things work. He was very thorough in the onset and then the closure of the investigation. Any questions, sharing evidence, and discussions afterwards if you had something that you wanted to talk about. He did a fantastic job, and I learned a lot of how to interact in the community under him when I lived in Southern California. And so now I thought was a really good time because since then, obviously, Lourdes and I got to work with him. Adam had come out to New Jersey once, and then we went out to California together, and we worked with him. We went to the Glen Tavern Inn in Santa Paula together. So we've had some really fun out in the field times. We brought him to White Hill when he was in New Jersey.
We went to Pasadena Playhouse.
Pasadena Playhouse he did with us also. So he's going to share some evidence, obviously, and talk about his experience. But I hadn't even known up until not too long ago the depth of what he had gone through with I guess he said it's a spirit infestation situation, but it was pretty dire and it was pretty serious. And I thought this was a good thing to do because we don't foster all the glorification of dark demonic stuff on the show, like you may see on TV, for example, where it's supposed to be pretty cool and it's exciting, and there's a realism to it that that we don't embrace, that that we need to be aware of. And so this is a guy who's been out there, he's been in the field, he does things right, he has good intention, and he's been through something that I thought would be not only interesting for people to hear, but hopefully learn from.
Interesting. I can't wait to hear the story behind that.
Well, Adam, do you want to lead with that story, or do you want to go through some of your evidence first?
Absolutely. Well, just that being said, not only is it interesting, but I mean, like, this is for all paranormal investigators too. People just starting out, people that are well experienced. I mean, if you want to do this, I mean, I think there's like prices to pay, and this is one of those prices. Obviously, this was a more severe problem that I had. But yeah, I mean, like you're going to deal with stuff like spirit attachments. Some more mild forms. I mean, I've had them before, and these more mild forms are like, I don't really feel like myself. I kind of have a weird string of bad luck. Let me go reach out to a psychic medium or a Reiki healer or somebody like that. So you're going to deal with stuff like that. Now, my story last year in September, I was just going through a wide variety of medical problems out of nowhere. Also, that being said, I mean, you don't know how long you're going to live, because in this case, it was like everything was fine one day, and then literally the next day, physical, mental, and spiritual health just starts plummeting. And you're just like, oh my God, like, what do I do about this? So that's why I'm here tonight to tell you guys, like, this happens to anybody. I hope you guys have the tools to deal with this situation now.
Do you know where were you when you got it?
Yeah, so this started out with just few ER trips or urgent care trips. So I just had it just felt like something like an internal organ was going to burst or something like that. Go to the urgent care facility. They don't find anything. It actually ended up just being a small chiropractic issue, but it just felt horrible. Like, yeah, I just felt like I'm going to have surgery to get myself opened up, Then the next week, a little more graphic, scrotum was hurting, like painful pains in the scrotum area. So I'm like thinking like, oh my God, like, is this cancer or something? They do ultrasound, nothing. Third time, now it's urgent care to the ER. My chest is hurting so bad, I feel like I'm going to collapse on the floor. So as I'm walking into urgent care, like, guys, you got to call an ambulance because I'm about to have a heart attack. So the moment I go into the ER, it's like nothing even happened. They ran all these tests and everything, and the test for a heart attack is a 45. Like, that's the highest score, right? Running all the blood tests and everything, it was a 6. So I'm left dumbfounded, like, what the hell is going on with me, man? And so, being obsessive compulsive, I start thinking like I got to go. Another health problem occurs, and it's like, okay, I think I got to occupy my mind to go do something. So, if you know me, you see Instagram posts of me going into mausoleums and just checking them out. That's something I'll do to tune up my instincts for spirit. And there's this one Portland mausoleum. It's about 8 stories big. Wow. I haven't been in there yet. I'm like, wow, this looks like a hell of a mausoleum. So I'm just going to go check this out. And it certainly was. But when you get to the lower parts of it, it becomes more sinister feeling. And I even thought, I'm not so sure. Maybe I shouldn't be here by myself. Maybe I should have somebody accompany me with me. But, I just thought, I've done this many times before. Nothing's ever happened. I'm not gonna, I'm sure I'll be fine. So I get to the second floor of this mausoleum and there's caution tape. And my instinct was just like, why is there caution tape here? And they're like, yeah, Adam, go check it out. Like, something's not right at this location. So I do that. I walk the corridor, turn the corner, turn the other corner, and then down this corridor, it's just all dark. And then my sixth sense was like, okay, this is as far as we go. Time to go right now. Because it's like, if there's something demonically infested, this is where it likes to hide, in the darkness. So I'm getting out of there. I mean, I have like 3 floors to climb up along with long hallways to get out of there. And, I do that. And as I'm driving the Selwood Bridge out of there, I just felt like something just grab onto me. And then all this anger and anxiety came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh God, what the hell is this? And I was like, oh no. And Ron knows this. After every EVP session, ITC, EMF, you name it, or just walking around somewhere, disengage from spirit, close the portal to that world, say goodbye, whatever that is. Didn't do that. And because I didn't do that, I paid a massive price for it. And I didn't think I was going to go through anything like this. Hours before that, everything was fine. As soon as I walked into that mausoleum, it just hell came for me. So yeah, physical, mental, spiritual health declined. And especially my mental health, I was just getting all these thoughts like holy cow, I never think of these things. I'm talking about really disturbing, sinister thoughts, like abusive acts towards people, and me enjoying those things. And of course, that's an obvious red flag there because I'm such an empathic guy, and it was just empathy's gone all of a sudden. So I'm sitting there what do I do about this? So I go to a man that I've been seeing now for a while, Harvey Althouse, who's a psychic medium. And I see him and he's like, well, Adam, I scanned your energy. You seem fine to me. And so after that, this just continues, unfortunately. And then around this time in December last year, I contracted a colon infection. But at that time, the urgent care facilities and everything, they were running tests and they couldn't find anything. So I'm, going to running to the bathroom 15, 20 times a day, not in any control of my bowels. And I can't eat anything. I'm eating, but I'm throwing all of it up. And remember where I got this idea, but I mean, and you guys know Pam. She can't stand what's going on. Like, she could sense like all the heightened anxiety in me and everything, and like we were not good. It was not fun at all. You know, I'm sure you guys could imagine that. But then I got this idea to go to Harvey again because I'm like, okay, there's no way that there's nothing going on here. I'm like, there has to be some sort of attachment going on. And getting my second reading with Harvey on the phone, you know, I say to Harvey, I'm lacking so much empathy. Like, I don't know where it went. Like, all my positive emotions are shut off, and every negative emotion you can think of is turned on. And not only is it turned on, it's amplified. So I'm ready to lose my mind. Like, I'm thinking I got to call the cops on myself or something, or put myself in a mental institution. And he goes, "Oh, I think you picked up a hitchhiker. Give me a few days and I'm going to draw out what you have on you." A few days later, he shows me what's on me. It's this female wrapped around me, grabbing my chest, grabbing my intestine where the infection is, and she's got black eyes. So right there, that's what was on me. So I went and saw a shamanic practitioner to have this thing removed from me. And in that session, like, this thing was talking through me. Like, in my head, I'm just like, I'm not saying any of this. Like, what? And I was crying too. Like, at first, the attachment was very resistant to going into the light. So she was saying all kinds of profanity words towards the practitioner. And then she just started crying through me, and she was just scared to death of going into the light because of what she did in this lifetime. And then she asked, "Are you from the mausoleum?" And she just says, "Yes." And I'm just like, I knew it. That is just, as paranormal investigators, you're like, yeah, absolutely. Normal people would think that we're absolutely insane, but our mindset, like, yeah, absolutely, there's no doubt about it. So the entity gets removed, but then I end up going to the hospital 3 more times. It's not that it didn't work, the removal, it's just that was the process I had to go through. But luckily, through that removal, they were able to finally find the bacteria that was causing the infection and everything, something called C. diff. So I had this come back up 3 times. So I had 3 rounds of antibiotics. The last one was the super strong antibiotics. And since then, I've just been recovering from this whole thing all year long. I've been sidelined from investigating this whole year. So basically, I've been sleeping on the couch or staying on the couch the first half of the year. And as time goes on, I'm finding more herbals and things like that to get the severe Crohn's diagnosis and infection killed. So that's the brief summary of that whole thing. And you guys just saw the picture of the attachment right now.
Yeah, let's show that again.
Yeah.
Have you been back out in the field at all since this now? You said you were sidelined for at least the first half of the year. And if you have been out, or when you go back out going forward, what's different about your approach besides not forgetting the closeout at the end, which I think is the obvious takeaway?
I would say that, I mean, through this whole thing, I mean, I also lost my sense of self. So I've been recovering not only through this whole thing, but I've been trying to get myself back too. So as far as investigating, yeah, I was back in the field. I went to the Hasita Lighthouse bed and breakfasts like a month after my hospitalization. But I would say that nothing has really changed, but like, I'm just more of what I already was. And of course, like, I know you said besides the disengaging from spirit, but yeah, I mean, I'm stressing out on that more often now, making sure that whatever spirits I come in contact with, like, yep, stay here, don't follow me, goodbye. Fourth dimension closed.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know that it was a good thing that you were able to recognize it, because some people get those thoughts and don't really know what's going on, or doesn't recognize what's happening, and they act upon those negative thoughts. So that was like, I commend you for that, because that's not easy to do, to recognize, wait a minute, something's just not right, and this is not me, and why am I getting these thoughts, and I need help.
Not only that, Lourdes, but if you told other people this, they probably wouldn't even believe you.
Yeah,
They'd
Right.
probably just be like, well, I guess you got to live with this now. You're like, huh? Like, no, dude, like, you know me. This isn't me. Like, and you know, I mean, like, it would be a constant fight with people. You know, like, no, I know me. You don't.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
So,
Right.
Well, and then this is something we don't normally touch base on, guys, but we've said it numerous times. Make sure that when you're investigating, you protect yourself going in. And as Adam pointed out, he forgot to close the door. Make sure you close that door and protect yourself as you leave, especially as you start getting into heavier, darker locations. The more you investigate, I mean, hell, I started out doing graveyards and chasing old ghost stories. And then today we're doing Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. And the heavier places that you get into, the more you have to protect yourself, and the more you have to make sure that you protect yourself when you leave. Because even if you don't walk away with attachment, what I call the pine tar effect, you can walk away with negative energy that just makes you feel like crap for days. And some of us call it a paranormal hangover, but depending on the location that you go to, it might not be. It might be that negative energy you're dragging with you. You have to cleanse yourself, make sure that you're protected, make sure that you're safe. And another thing I've always told people that we used to do tours with at the hospital, if this is something that you're going to pursue as a paranormal investigator, make sure you're ready for the worst thing that you could ever imagine. Be prepared to have the shit scared out of you at some point. It's because it's going to happen, and make sure you protect yourself, because you never know what you're going into. It's a world that some people don't believe in, but for those of us that know that the world exists, you need to be prepared for just about anything, because you never know what you're walking into.
and that's the thing, Chris, like this, what happened to me, like, it doesn't just happen to paranormal investigators. This happens to everyday normal people too. Like, if you watched the documentary, I had Harvey on it, and there was a cop. He was a complete skeptic. He didn't believe in any of this stuff. So he was pulling a guy out from a car that was on fire. That's how he got his attachment. And like, his wife was a big believer in it. And he's like, well, if anything happens, it's going to be you. And then it ended up happening to him.
Yep.
Do you feel that there's any silver lining? I had, when I lived in LA, you know that I had an attachment problem, nowhere near the magnitude of that. But then when a couple of the shaman from the group I was in, one of whom got rid of it, another one who used to monitor me after that just to check and see from afar if everything was cleansed, like you had somebody checking you out, and said that that I was so much more grounded and defended because of that. It was like, like a fool me once thing. Like after that, it would be very, less likely to be a repeat performance because of what you went through. Do you think, I mean, my answer, if I was to judge you knowing you, my answer to that question would be yes. But do you think that you are now a much more difficult target or prey for this kind of a situation, because now you've been through it, and that's armor you've developed, so to speak?
Absolutely, Ron. There's no question about that. That is going to live in me my entire life. It's ingrained in my subconscious mind now. Like I said, it's ingrained in my subconscious mind now. So I think deep down, it's like I've already got that armor set up. Like, Adam, make sure this does not happen again. You know how agonizing this was. So, just make sure. Precautions. Saint Michael, have him by your side at all times.
And the whole not believing us thing, I mean, that's something just with what we do on the most mundane to the most fantastical level that we always deal with, right? We always have to have this prolepsis-minded approach where you're anticipating the objections and the things that you have to explain to someone who doesn't see the feasibility or the realism in what you're talking about. That's part and parcel with what we do. So I can imagine when you're in that type of a situation that it almost feels like a lot of the walls are closing in because you don't have the same outreach that you do if you go, hey, you know, I'm trying to quit smoking or I have a problem with drinking or I lost my job. It's like the safety nets that are available more readily to the general public don't extend to those kinds of things. They don't understand it.
That's true, because it does happen to everyday people. It's just that they don't recognize. If you have someone that's a certain way and all of a sudden they just change, people just think, well, you know, they just took a turn, but it could possibly be that they may have some sort of attachment, and they don't have to be a paranormal investigator because it's all around us.
No.
Yeah.
So, and then if they accept it because, you know, they don't believe or whatever it is, then, you know, that's what happened.
Yep. Normal people just go, oh, that's it.
Yep.
I guess this is my life now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not even like, if I stress this all the time, listen to your instincts. Don't listen to other people. Like if you know for a fact something's wrong inside of you, you listen to that. Nobody else.
Yep.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Nobody knows you more than you do yourself.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We may be the only species on the planet that learns and develops an ability to ignore our instincts.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's another reason why we're talking tonight. Listen to your instincts. I argue all the time, the best piece of equipment in our field is our instinct. Or as the ladies like to call it, intuition.
Yep.
Without it, the equipment's absolutely worthless.
Yep.
Agreed.
Well, and
So-
you make a valid point, and then even Lourdes, I mean, it happens to everyday people. We're used to it. We know to protect ourselves going into it. You know to protect yourself even more going into it now, to where normal people that just stumble across a location that has something that would, you know, attach itself to it, they're not going to think twice about it. So that physical condition that you came down with, normal people are just going to think it's a physical condition.
Yeah, I just got sick.
I just got sick. Let me go to the hospital.
Right.
And they get prescriptions nonstop.
And they go to the doctor for years to find, not to be told,
Nothing.
you're fine. The blood test, everything, yep, you're fine.
Yep.
Two important things. One is that, again, to repeat what I said in the beginning, this is not a, you know, here comes the dark and demonic episode show. This is where our show is called Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. And then some of the evidence of paranormality, unfortunately, in some instances, is this type of scenario. And so this is somebody that I can attest to, because I know him even longer than she knows him, and she also knows him, is that this is not a drama. Oh my God, every time I go somewhere, something touches me, something poked me, a ghost took my wallet, my ID's on eBay. Like, he's not that guy.
Far from it.
So this is something that when I heard it, I was like, you know, I believe 100% that he went through something that was traumatic. The other point is that this show, and he's going to share some of his evidence, is that there's the success story, I think, in this for me, is because he's sitting right there.
Yep.
And if he was a coward, if he was getting pushed out of something because his passion was going to be taken away from him, from something bullying him out of it, you wouldn't be looking at him right now. So that's
goal sitting next to it.
Would have allowed it to take its power. His power.
Bingo.
That's it.
Yeah,
so
on the hospital bed. And I mean, like, trust me, I had those voices telling me that, you know, like, oh, if you continue, I'm going to make your condition worse. You know, you're hearing stuff like that all day long. Delete your evidence now, or else I'm going to make your health even worse. And I'm here right now just fine. Even went back to the mausoleum to do an investigation. So take that.
Back on the whole.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. S.I.U, mofos. S.I.U. S.I. Screw you, spirit who did that. Not cool.
And I want to point something out too.
I'm sensing a shirt.
Yeah, you don't know the Knoedler. But that's your shirt. You don't know the Knoedler.
You don't know the
Because the Yak Man said so.
I just saw a double thing happening there. The Yak Man said so, and you don't know the Knoedler. That's awesome.
We can go on all night.
I'm gonna point out one more thing that Adam and Ron said to this. We're not leading towards this is the demonic episode. If you guys paid really close attention to Adam's story, he never said it was a demonic entity. It was a negative entity that was afraid to move on because they didn't want to face what they had done in life. So this was something that was attaching itself to Adam, hanging on to that pure energy that they wanted to absorb, probably thinking that maybe it would help them reach the light that they wanted to reach, not going somewhere else. So we didn't infer to it as a demonic spirit. It was just a negative spirit. We talk about it all the time. I mean, the spirit was afraid to face what it had faced in life. What do we always say? An asshole in life, an asshole in death. Guess what?
Yeah.
So, all right. Adam, we are so happy to have you back on the horse, bud. You're a great investigator, and we're happy to have you back on the show too. We're glad to see you. Glad to see you doing better, bud.
That's great.
And thank you for sharing your story too.
Yeah.
Because that's brave of you. That's brave of you to share your story.
Well, like I said, compared to last year, I'm ecstatic to be here right now. I am so glad to be here right now than last year. Absolutely.
Can you see it? Yeah, he's there.
See that?
Knoedler in that book.
Yeah.
That's a book number 2. That's Adam. That was at White Hill. Those are the
White-
Ghost Brothers in the other pictures. They didn't sign on for this.
That picture moved by itself, and I ran upstairs to the recorder. It was like
That's
it was like somebody had a little string attached to that picture and just pulled it a little bit because I saw the light on it and the light like shifted. I'm like, that picture moved by itself.
Yeah, I remember that because I was talking. Adam, as you can tell by now, is very calm, low key, easygoing energy, right? And there was a picture frame of this flapper woman or something on the bar in the basement at White Hill, which is a very active area. And we were setting up still, and he was looking at it, and no one else. We were all just doing our thing, and it slid a couple inches in one direction. And he went, "Did anybody see that?" I was like, "Well, he never yells like that. Something happened."
That thing must have moved.
Yeah. Something happened.
Awesome. Like I got what I came for. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Adam. So let's get into some of your evidence. You've got a great Estes one coming up that I'm going to save for a little bit here because it's a great. I looked through them again before the show started. These are some great ones. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Grand Lodge Lavender Lady. You want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, so the Grand Lodge, up here in the Pacific Northwest, we have an establishment called McMenamins, and they're known to buy historical places and renovate them into hotels, restaurants, and a good amount of them just happen to be haunted. And this Grand Lodge was a Masonic temple. And I forget what the further story is, but there's a woman there known as the Lavender Lady. When she's present, you can smell lavender. And what she used to do was that she would leave books at people's doorsteps because it was something that they needed to read. And this actually happens to guests there. Like sometimes that'll happen, and they go to the front desk like, "Hey, like there's a strong scent of lavender. Like, did a worker leave this book here?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Well, somebody left this here." So things like that.
Interesting.
All right, let's take a look.
Is the Lavender Lady on this floor? In here? Is she in one of the rooms? Sounds like you said hi.
Wow, that was clear.
Yeah,
That was like, I wasn't, I mean, I love it when I go in not expecting much, and then you get something like that. Because nobody knows exactly where the Lavender Lady is in the building.
right.
But she's shown to show up. I mean, there's one room, it's room 233 is the Lavender Lady room. But like I said, there's numerous reports of her being throughout the building. So You know, when I walked by, that was room 302. So I'm thinking she must be in there too.
Wow. That's pretty cool. What kind of device were you using there, Adam?
That was a Ghost Vox by the GhostTube app.
Okay.
So I saw that people were using that. I'm like, looked like an interesting piece of an app. And it says that spirit's able to use electromagnetic fields to manipulate and form words on that app. And so, I mean, using it before, we were getting some pretty accurate responses with it. And I was like, all right, I'll just continue to do that then. So sometimes after what I love about Ubering is that it'll bring you to around haunted locations. So if I'm taking a break or something, or just done driving people around, just stop by a haunted place and put an app to the test. That's what I did there.
Yeah. That's an interesting app because we never heard of it before. And we were at the Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York, and there was a couple there who was using it, and they thought it was really good. And we'll try anything. And I believe if you think they can manipulate electronics, that if that's the app you're running, they can manipulate the phone. So it's not necessarily wholeheartedly the app, but if that's lending itself to what you want it to do, and it's your device, which is electromagnetic, it's possible. I would never say it's not. And when we saw it, the direct radio voice had said something that was a racial slur to the female of that couple. And then we were outside in front of the place and they told us about the app. So we downloaded it and we were messing around with it. We were just outside, just getting some air, having a little coffee. And then it repeated another slur.
It didn't repeat it.
Well, it said a different one, right?
Right, because we didn't say the word. That's another thing, because you have to be careful to say the word. No one was thinking this, and it called me. I don't know if I should say it. I'm afraid to say the word, but it was a racial slur that no one said. No one was even thinking. It's not the regular N word. It was something else.
But that was what it called. That's what it called the lady inside.
Yes,
and
that's what it called the lady.
She heard it, and her face just went. And so, funny thing is, she was joking around about it because her male counterpart, her partner, was white, and it said that they were joking around about, oh, maybe the spirits are racist, and they'll say something like that. And then, sure enough, that word comes out of the direct radio voice thing at the table, and then we're outside talking about it. They show us this app, and then it says the opposite of the word white and faced.
Yeah, it said BLACKED face.
Wow.
That's what it called me. Well, I think because that was the only one that's dark skin, because she wasn't outside. No one said that word, and it just said blue face. And we were like, "Oh, wow!" So
it was interesting. If that was a coincidence and we hadn't said it, so the microphone doesn't picking us up. I don't think it's anything to do with super psi and telepathy, because neither of us think those things.
Yeah.
Right. Well, like you say, on timing and relevance.
Right.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
That's an honor.
Straight from the yak.
All right, so we're going to jump into. I'm going to jump into the mausoleum ones because these are the fresher ones, right?
Yeah.
And this is Adam back on the horse, guys. So I wanted to make sure.
This is the recent one.
Yeah, this is the recent one. The first one that is the infestation at the mausoleum EVP.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Don't exactly remember how to get there, but I'm sure we would eventually find them, since we're dealing with 8 floors of mausoleum here.
You have to play it again.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
It's there. I heard it.
Yep.
I don't exactly remember how to get there, but I'm sure we would eventually find them, since we're dealing with 8 floors of mausoleum here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's low, but it's there, and it's clear. It's just low.
Very, very soft. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to just bring it to your ear, but it's absolutely there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I got a creepy question for you, Adam. This was after you got rid of the infestation, correct?
Correct. And this came from somebody that I started recently working with, Luna from Luna Paranormal. She's like, hey, I captured this EVP. Take a listen. And listening to it now that you know the story, it was like, oh man, is it saying what I think it's saying? Like, oh, you're mine, come back. And I'm just like, no, I don't think so. Like,
So you think that's related to your infestation at all?
I believe so. I mean,
I would agree.
Wow.
yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, the minute I heard that, it's just a vision of you and her talking to you popped into my head. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's got the chills.
That's crazy.
All right. Infestation Site Evil and Flux 2. All right, here we go.
Tight. Oh, that's me. But there's evil on the Ovilus. Evil? Yes. Is this establishment suffering because of entities that are here? Yeah. Wow. So in order for that to go off, we need to be next to the sensors on the sides. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, I'm not on the side here, and you're by the red. Yeah, so it should have turned red.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we were there previously before that, but like all our audio and stuff and their videos got compromised. So I mean, like we were getting stuff like Demon on the Ovilus and things like that. And like we actually went down the stairs to that infestation site, but I had no idea that that was the site because I went a different way. And Luna and her boyfriend, who's the cameraman for her, like we saw her, was like, oh wow, this is creepy. Like, yeah. And as we're walking down the corridor, I saw the caution tape and I was like, wait, there's caution tape. Oh, this is it. Like it's still there after 15 months. It's just last time I came this way, but this time I went that way. And so like, you know, knowing that we didn't know and like we felt something around that area, that's what kind of gave it that confirmation.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would imagine. Ugh.
Absolutely.
Adam, technique wise, and I've seen you do this a bunch of times before. You run more than one Ovilus concurrent, along with recorders and other things. I'm guessing you do that for a reason. You're looking for synchronicity.
Well, 3 and 4 have different. I mean, 3 has a certain amount of words in the database, and then 4 obviously is the more advanced one with more words in the database. So, you know, this is a don't leave any stone left unturned type of thing. You know, I just figured, I mean, if you have 3 and 4, I mean, why not just use both of them then? You know,
Do you get instances where you get correlative data between the two, where it either finishes a thought between the two or gives the exact same thought on the two?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that has happened.
So if you watch the infestation investigation, that's part of the video there. We were walking, I left those Ovuluses on the table, and as I came back over, like the Ovilus 4 said devil, but as I saw it, it left. And I said, I think I just saw the Ovilus 4 say devil, and then Ovilus 3 says fact.
Wow.
All right.
Huh. Yeesh.
That's some pretty odd timing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, the next one I'm going to jump into is the Estes session that you did at the mausoleum. And for some of our viewers, Adam, that doesn't know what an Estes session is, do you want to explain that to them for us?
Yeah, and before I go into that, this is actually my very first time doing an Estes session.
Nice.
So that makes, I feel, what was captured more credible. So what I'm doing here is we're running on a spirit box. I'm wearing headphones, and Luna was the one asking the questions. So while Luna's asking the questions, I'm wearing noise canceling headphones. I can't hear what she's saying. So my job is to just say what's on the spirit box while Luna or whoever you're working with asks the questions. So while she's asking questions, I don't know what she's saying. My job is to just say what's on the spirit box. And the idea behind this is that there's been very strange, like, synchronicity there, because it's like how am I answering that question when I don't even know what she said?
Right. This was developed in Estes, Colorado. I think at the Stanley
Yes.
Hotel. I think the first place they did it, and it was meant to vet the authenticity of what you're getting out of a box because of that whole power of suggestion / hearing what you want to hear, pareidolia driven excuse, which yes happens, but it gets thrown around way too much. And so this is a way to take that off the table. He doesn't know the questions, so he's not looking for any answer.
Right.
No. Mm-mm.
Well, and you'll notice from the video too, everybody, is that not only does he have the noise canceling headsets on and that spirit box is so loud he can't hear the questions, but he's also wearing a blindfold. So he can't see where the person asking questions are, and he can't read the lips, can't understand what they're saying at all. There's no outside interference coming in except what's coming in through the headphones. So let's go ahead. It's about a 4-minute clip. It's a pretty interesting one. So take a look.
Oh, cool.
My name is Luna, this is Nolan, and that's Adam. Adam is wearing headphones and a blindfold where you can go up and talk to
Hey,
him.
Adam.
Yep, good job.
They're speaking.
We are.
Shoes, no.
Is there something evil here?
Hey.
Hi,
Birds chirping. Woman.
I am a woman. What is your name?
Only one.
Only one. What does that mean? One woman? What is your name?
Love.
Do you want love?
Two.
There are birds chirping outside.
Call them out.
Call who out?
Daydream. After. Fun.
They're just going nuts right now. What is it you're trying to say to me?
Wrong.
What's wrong?
That's what. Thank you.
Tapping from behind me. Did you just tap over
That's
here?
my way.
You like to tap? What is your name?
I guess so.
Maybe they're talking to each other.
A video.
We are taping you. Is that okay?
11:20.
Is that the time you died?
About 3, 4.
You died around 3 or 4?
Religion.
What religion are you? Are you a masonry?
More than.
If you're up on Adam, back off of him a little bit. I can see he's uncomfortable.
Hatches.
Is that how you died?
1,000.
Are you guys just talking to yourselves?
Portland.
Do you even know that we're here talking to you right now?
And if you're listening,
Are you listening to us?
medicine.
Do you need a priest
Part
or
of a natural.
do you need a doctor? What about that evil thing down here? What is that all about?
Devil's final.
What does that mean? Tapping from over there. What does that mean?
Some danger.
Okay. How dangerous?
Family.
What is it? What is the evil thing?
What did he say?
What is the evil thing?
Biblical.
Tell me what it is. What is the evil thing? Should we be scared?
That needs loads of business.
It's like sometimes we're getting intelligent responses and the next it's just very random.
Coward.
What's he saying?
Handle. Off campus. Negative.
He looks uncomfortable. Are you messing with Adam right now?
You're in school.
I'm not in school. Thank you for the compliment, though. Can you talk to me about this evil thing? That's what I want to know.
When they.
Is this evil thing biblical? Should we leave?
Yeah.
Why, you don't like us? Or are you concerned for us? Why do you guys always want us to leave?
Part 2.
Part 2 of what? Is that a threat?
I was you. Ouch.
What happened?
Get out.
Did I do something wrong? I apologize if I did.
Cinco. Lost of.
Are you Spanish descent? Hola. 5.
Work.
Why do you want us to leave so bad?
In years.
Tapping from all around. Might be the window. That's definitely not on the radio. Is that your favorite word?
You have a shelter.
I do. It's a beautiful shelter. Do you? Do you remember Adam?
Your demon.
What does that mean?
The Bible.
What does it mean? Is there something down here? Are you kidding me right now? You remember Adam?
They're mine.
No, we are not. Absolutely not. We are ending conversation with you. You're no longer allowed to speak with us.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was my first one ever.
Yeah. It escalated quickly at the end there.
Yeah, it did.
What's that?
That escalated quickly at the end. Like they got kind of.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah. The only part 2 there's going to be is when I put this thing to rest.
Yeah. Hey, I want to point out, because I've seen that method done. We've done it a couple times since how many years ago we first had been introduced to
The
it.
first time we did it was in 2016.
Okay. Was it her name was Luna?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's watching or if she's going to watch this, but her ability to engage and hold conversation without stepping on or losing, it was like a dance.
Yeah.
We just talked about this with something else we worked on separate from the show. It was like a dance. Like she was vibing the conversation as it was happening. She went longer with sentences or questions, and then when there were things there, she responded to it. It was very balanced, very in sync, very smooth. It was
She was
really
good.
really nicely done.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's what happens when you got 2 paranormal-minded people. I mean, there's an understanding, so we know how this is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Hey, real
She did a
quick,
really
guys,
good-
in about 3 minutes, UNX is going to switch over their audio program, but we've got a few more clips here from Adam, and we're going to continue to go. So keep watching us on YouTube and on Facebook. We're going to go past the hour. Go ahead and stick around with us for a while.
S.I.U.
S.I.U. All right, the next one we got is ovulus work. You want to tell us a little bit about that one, Adam?
Yeah. Does it just say ovulus work, or what's on the title too?
It just says ovulus work.
Oh.
We can go ahead and watch it, and then you can talk to us about it.
Yeah, do that, because
All right, here we go.
on the clip. So, are there any spirits here with me right now on the first floor of the Heseda bed and breakfast? You can speak in these devices here. They have a word database, so I know what you'll be saying. There's a nice fire going on there, so you can use that for energy. Main. Else, us. Are you saying this is the main part of the house? I heard something over there. Paranormal. Was that paranormal over there? Fact. Wow. Can you do it again? Who was that?
That was great.
Oh, that's cool. Especially the fact part. Yeah, because you mentioned that happened in the other thing. Do you get that a lot when it validates what you're asking by saying fact?
I've had that happen 3 times already.
Oh, wow.
So that location, that was called the Heseda Bed and Breakfast. And I was on the main floor there. There's going to be another clip, so I'll get into the ghost story on that one. But yeah, that happened at the mausoleum you just saw it, where it said devil. I caught it, and it says fact, and then there's that one. And then the third one was the Lavender Lady room at Grand Lodge, room 233. And I said, does the Lavender Lady stay here? And then the obvious 3 says fact.
Wow.
That's cool.
All right, the next one we got is the Hasita Ghost of Rue.
Ooh.
There it is.
Hasita.
All right, here we go.
You guys would love it.
All right, here we go.
Do you write your name on the window over there when people are sleeping? Okay, Rue, if that is your name, I'm gonna review the recording now. So if you can continue to communicate through those devices, I really appreciate you coming through right now. Is it a good message that you want us to know about? Well, the millimeter just jumped to 1. over 1. Wow. It's a good message. What's the good message then? Is that everything's okay here? Everything's good?
Do you write your name on the window? Over there when people are sleeping?
Oh, look at that.
Okay, Rue, if that is your name.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That very good. Thank you very
So
much.
you can continue to communicate through those devices.
Oh my gosh,
Really
the
appreciate
windows
your
are
time doing
fogging
that.
too.
Thank you.
Wow. Now when the windows fog, that's when she does it. Huh. Wow. That was awesome. Thank you very much, Rue.
That was
Wow.
cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mr. Carter, Mr. Carter.
Yeah.
So there's something I want to point out, guys, here. In order for a mist to accumulate on glass like that, that means the temperature outside has to be cooler than the temperature inside, right? So prior to that forming, the temperature was the same on the inside as the outside. It won't foam up like that. It'll gradually, as if the temperature on the inside heats up more than the colder temperature on the outside, that fog will start to form slowly and it'll creep up the window. In order for that window to fog that quickly, somebody would have had to have gone to where their hot breath was against the cold glass with the cold exterior of the window, causing that moisture to form on the glass barrier. And if you could see in that video, Adam wasn't close enough, and you didn't hear Adam go because you'd have picked it up.
No, you didn't see me on the window.
No.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's a cold night on the Oregon coast. So before I started that session, the windows were not fogged up.
Well, no, and even a heater kicking on couldn't have caused that, because the heater has a dry element to it that it won't kick out moisture. Because if a heater kicked out moisture, the inside of the heater would end up rotting and rusting. It has a drying element or filament in it that keeps it from kicking out moisture. So even a heater kicking on wouldn't have caused that. The humidity in the room would have had to have been 105%. And Adam would have been standing there sweating like crazy in order for that to happen that quickly on that glass.
Also, I mean, like, there's about 30 to 40 minutes worth of content there too, and some edited as well. When you look at the windows, there's no fog on the windows. As time passes by, you see the fog start to come in.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, that's really cool. And Chris, once again, providing insight like no other. And I love that because you have a professional background that comes into play here. Your ability for situational awareness, which we harp on constantly. That's why, right there. And those things investigatively are so important, because you have to vet the authenticity of what you get if you believe that it's something that is of paranormal effect. And that kind of ability to assess and know those kinds of things, I think, is an undervalued and under-acquired skill in the field, when everything is so spooky oriented and learning ghosts and EMF spikes and stuff like that, which I'm not saying isn't important, but that when you hear an explanation like that comes from a practicality standpoint, but supports the fact that it is not a materialist situation that is unfolding there, that's fascinating to me. So that was brilliantly put. And then Adam, again, completely aware of his situation, which is something that you have a lot of value for, also knew what you were saying. So that was totally cool for me.
Yeah,
that was pretty neat too. And when you go back and review the show, there's another thing in there that I forgot to mention too, that indicates what my explanation and how it values out is. If you pay really close attention, windows, you have a top sash and a bottom sash. It's two separate parts, right? And you see that wood divider in between on the old windows. If you notice, the glass below didn't form the fog. So if it was something in the room that was environmental, it would have formed on both pieces of glass, not just the one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, it had been cold for a while too, so the fog should have already been there.
Right, and the heat in the room would have balanced out. Nothing in that room could have caused that to form that quickly.
No.
I can tell you, standing outside the paranormal, even if I didn't believe in it, looking at that, there is environmentally nothing that could have caused that without somebody breathing heavily on that glass.
Yeah.
So they would have had to increase the temperature. They would have had to increase the temperature in that room on that speck of glass immensely and quickly with the humidity behind it, which tells you even more that it was a breath, which is even more fantastic because
we're dissecting this, man.
Yeah.
Take notes, people getting into the paranormal. Take notes. There is more to investigating than asking email password security questions. There's more.
Here, I want to point some out. So Ronald says, "I have fog on my windows every morning."
I have fog here every morning.
Well, there's a catch to this, Ronald. On my windows, not on one single pane of glass, on one window. Yeah. And it didn't just form in a couple seconds like it did in the video there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, good. That's a good noggin. That's
he does awesome. Have a good noggin.
Thanks, Katie.
You want to get complimented on your intellect, that's who you want to get it from, is somebody with the last name Holte.
Yeah, no kidding. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, Adam, the last one we have is Devil's Gate Serial Killer. I saved this one for last just because of the name.
I've been to that place. I've been there, and I've been there because of him.
He was the first midnight tour guest. And I actually thought he was the one that didn't want to go, and turns out it was the other way around.
Yeah, that's right. Because a lot of times one part of a couple, I was dating somebody when I first started doing this in California. It was before you, but you're permanent. It's okay.
You're permanent.
And so we would go, and when we were newer at it, and he would have like an 8 o'clock and like a 10:30 or something. And we would always go to the late one because it said if stuff's happening, he has to end the tour because there's another one. But if it's the late one, you can keep going. And Adam would keep going. And if we were the only two who showed up, he would still do the tour with the same passion and energy and take his time as he would if it was 50 people. And it was awesome. And that place, I was like, whoa, I got to know how he found this place. You had a story about how you even found it the first time you went and scouted it, right? When something happened to you at that place.
Yeah, I mean, I'd been to Pasadena. I mean, Pasadena local. I mean, all you hear about is Suicide Bridge, haunted forest, Suicide Bridge, haunted forest, Suicide Bridge, haunted forest. And then one day in San Diego, my cousin had a weird California book, and I open it up, it says Devil's Gate Reservoir. I'm like, well, where's this location at? Pasadena. Like, I've been doing this for how long, and I'm just now hearing about this. Yeah. So that night or the next day, after I go to the gym, I just go to scout it out, and nightfall's coming. So I just walked the dam and got in my car. And then when I hopped in the shower and was getting cleaned up, there was this sting on my leg, and I looked down, and there's 3 long scratch marks down my leg. And I didn't come in contact with any kind of brush or anything like that. And I mean, like, if they were popped blood vessels on my leg, they wouldn't be doing this. They wouldn't be curving. So the only explanation I could think was like, this has to be demonic scratches.
Huh. That's the name.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at that.
So,
all right, here we go.
Doing our 30 EP session right now. There have been times where we've been here, and I asked if this place needed an exorcism. Does that still need to happen? Is Macrae Edwards here? Is he still here at the dam? Tried to contact him a couple of times. He said something about being possessed by something. That's why he did what he did. Okay, thank you. Do you regret what you did? Are you trapped here because of a result of what you did? Do you want to stay here? Or do you want help going into the light? I'll ask again, and when I ask the question, When I ask the question, I want you to go near the red, like what you're doing right now. Do you want to be free of this place? Or do you want to remain here? Do you want help? Are we talking to a child? Do you want us to say a prayer for you? Would you like us to say the St. Michael prayer for you? St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, by the divine power of God. Cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who roam throughout the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Are you untrapped now? Are you free? Do you feel better? Have the entities backed off of you? Okay, this is Adam running our 30 EVP session right now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Enthusiastic too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had
That's a creepy place.
It is. I had one guy argue with me that it's the semi trucks going by. And although that's a valid point, the thing is, I've brought the REM pod with me to that location many times and have never had it once go off until that night. And on top of that, like what you always say, Ron, timing and relevance. After I'm done asking those questions, REM pod goes off. So unless there's some guy on a semi truck listening in,
Right.
highly unlikely.
Right.
You got
So
the
you
point.
think the semi truck had? I'm not saying that, but that can cause that. Maybe they're on the radio or something. Is
Well,
that?
yeah, the same way a walkie-talkie can
Okay.
trigger stuff like that, but
All
they
right.
would have to be stationary or within
No,
range.
I know,
Yeah.
I get that. I was just asking because but I get that timing and relevance. I just wanted to know for my own personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I used to be a truck driver.
Yeah,
So-
good.
Sorry, guys.
What haven't you done?
I know.
Some stuff I'm not proud of, and other stuff I like to talk about. But so most truck drivers, they have a frequency. They have a frequency on their radios that will only travel up to a quarter mile, right? But then you've got these other truck drivers that like to spend hundreds of dollars on these ham radios, and these ham radios could get your EMF from that distance to spike. But I'm telling you right now, the percentage of truck drivers with the radio that has a strong enough frequency to get that EMF to spike from that distance is like winning the lottery. You're talking like 1 out of every 50 truck drivers has one of those radios. And as often and as relevant as of the spikes you were getting on the EMF, the REM pod from the EMF, you can't tell me you had every truck driver in Southern California that has one of those radios
Passing
going by at the
right
same
at that
time.
moment. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And those were
That's
strong
pretty cool.
spikes. Man.
Yeah. Those are strong hits.
They were strong hits, and they were enthusiastic hits, especially when you asked do you want me to say a prayer for you? That one was like, it was begging.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I saw Chip Coffey do this in an episode of Paranormal State a long time ago. They were investigating a demonically infested church, and they had something on the thermal camera that was like super cold. He said the St. Michael prayer, and all of a sudden the energy just left the room and the temperature rise back up to normal. It was incredible. I was like, well, if something like that happens, I got to use that, see what happens. And I mean, it creates a really strong response. Like if spirits are in trouble, that's the prayer that I go to, and it does get effective responses.
Yeah. That whole Pasadena area is really like a hotbed too. The dam there, and then that tunnel. The tunnel at the dam is ridiculous. That's really creepy in the tunnel. And then also Cobb Estate, right? Cobb Estate, where there's the foundation of what was once the mansion, I guess, that was there, but you can see like the cement steps and stuff. We had some weird stuff happen there too when I was there with you.
My thing was the Playhouse, the Pasadena Playhouse, because I got affected in that place. And I was brand new.
You remember that, Adam? We had to walk her outside, remember?
Yeah. I think you guys were there for that night, weren't you, when we heard that woman crying outside of the green room?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was it.
Yes.
I ran And like there was no woman out there. That was the weeping woman of the place, and everybody heard
That
her.
was good night.
Strange enough, like
Crazy.
our recorders didn't even capture any of it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? Like that's
You know, we moved to North Carolina from Phoenix, and we were in Southern California. I mean, I've been in Southern California since I was a kid, numerous times, hunting ghosts, lots of times. And I can tell you, there is something about Southern California, and I think it's directly related to the San Andreas Fault and the geographical
Oh, you froze.
that actually amplifies paranormal activity in Southern California. That's my personal theory. But Southern California is just crazy insane with paranormal activity.
We're just talking about that, right? With the low frequency coming out of the quakes, right?
No, that's ultra high frequency.
No, it was low.
Well,
From the earthquake.
Yeah,
Ultra
it was ultra high.
Yeah, it's
I don't
ultra
think so. All right,
I'm pretty sure it was.
Devil's Gate, the portal to hell. I mean, I think that water flows to the Los Angeles County River. So
Interesting.
That's another theory to look into.
Well, and then you got the combination of Southern California is nothing but rock too. So you've got the I can't say the word. I don't want to mess it up.
jazz, slow jams. I'm not that kind of rock. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, wrong R&B.
Don't worry about messing up because I was thinking about it and he's right. It was ultra low frequency. You're right. It was ultra low frequency.
We got that on recording. You can see this section back over and over and over. You can loop it.
It was real love.
And that's why
He's right.
That's why she's permanent.
Right.
I admit when I'm wrong.
You heard it first right here on EVPE, guys. A woman told a man he was right. Right here, and we got it recorded.
Lourdes, what are you doing to us?
We have to break the bone every once in a while. I mean, come on.
Now I can play it back for Audra and go, see, you can say it.
Yeah. Now tell Chris what was wrong with doors and windows, for crying out loud. Let's go. No, nothing. Nobody's bold enough to take that conversation.
Nobody's touching that.
30 years in the business. I hope I learned something. All right, Adam, this is the part of the show where you get to shamelessly plug your return. Where can people find you? What are you doing up in Portland? What's your TikTok? What's your Facebook page? Where can they find you?
Yep. So just head over to the TikTok page and it'll be linked to other stuff. Supernatural INV unit, because TikTok won't let me spell out the whole name. But there's a link there. There's the Instagram and the YouTube. YouTube name is Supernatural Productions, one word. And if there's other ones, but you'll find mine with a cross and close to 6,000 subscribers. And Instagram, full name, Supernatural Investigation Unit. And you can find it on Facebook too, under S.I.U, the Supernatural Investigation Unit. And since I'm in Portland right now, I'm investigating the hauntings of the Pacific Northwest and continuing to do so. Hopefully, I can get back to doing tours pretty soon now that I've gone through COVID, gone through all of the digestive diseases and finally fine. So plan is to continue.
Yeah, good.
Nice.
Yeah, Melissa Blackman, we agree. We appreciate you coming on and sharing. Thank you, Katie. We appreciate you coming on and sharing. I think what Lourdes said summed it up. It's really it's brave enough to come forward and say you do this stuff still. I know it's come a long way with TV, but it's still, you still get the person that goes, oh, you believe in ghosts? I'm like, all right. But to come forward with that story and share that is, I agree with her. It's brave to do that, and it definitely it sheds light on part of the realism of what goes on.
The type of infestation that he had, it was very severe, and that's something that's really hard to talk about.
Yeah.
The things that he was thinking and stuff like that. That's not easy. So yeah,
you can watch the documentary on my YouTube channel too, Infestation Documentary. And the great thing is there's people leaving comments that are like, this is exactly what I went through. Thank you for sharing this. Now I know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing the story, Adam, because, we lean towards the metaphysical side of the paranormal portion of it. And that's always the side that people tend to lean away from, because that's the side that everybody goes, oh God, that's bullshit. Oh God, here we go again with the metaphysical stuff. And it's nice to, I tell you, we've had Adam on the show before, and Ron can attest to this because you guys are good friends and Lourdes is good friends with Adam. Adam's not the type of guy that's going to make crap up. He's the type of guy that, here's my evidence, see what you see. So for Adam to come on and have the intestinal fortitude to tell us what he went through and share his experience with us is huge. And I'm actually glad that you did that. So thank you for sharing. That's fantastic.
And at the end of the documentary, the message is, if the physical and the mental are not working, look to the spiritual then, because you might find your answer there.
That's right.
Very nice.
You're awesome, Adam.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for having me.
And he went back. Booyah.
Booyah.
Yeah.
Which is why I want to go back to my house. One of these days, I want to go back to that place because I want to confront whatever affected me.
Hopefully you guys will make your way out to Oregon soon. All you guys.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. And we'll try to drag you back out here again, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys, we want to thank you guys for stopping by tonight. We will be back next Monday, same time, same channel. We want to thank Chris Nawara, Katie Holte for stopping by as always and sharing. Melissa Blackman, you're fantastic every week. Courtney Peterson. We had Scott, PPIT Reddick. Happy birthday, brother. Thanks for showing up tonight. Ronald with ERRT Radio. Everett. Eric showed up. Everett shows up every week. Thanks, Everett, for showing up.
Yeah. My sissy popped in again. Donnie.
Tower Paranormal Investigations. Thanks for showing up, guys. Nancy Blanchard.
Yeah, she's at Canada, yeah?
Yeah. No, that Nancy wasn't from Canada. It was another lady.
No, I thought it was Nancy.
I don't think so. Could have been.
Yeah, he's probably wrong.
Anton Ritter showed up again. Anton showed up again. It's wrong.
The train has left the station.
I'll just rewind it and play the tape again, Lourdes. That's all right.
Nancy Blanchard said she thinks she was up in Canada.
Yeah. Somebody was up in Canada. I missed it. Oh, Maureen just joined in. We're just in time for us to say goodnight. A little witchy. All right, guys.
Anthony Simonelli, how you doing?
Anthony Simonelli, how you doing?
Yep, Chris Noir. Yeah, Nancy Blanchard, New Brunswick, Canada.
And Michael Bloomfield.
Yeah,
Michael Bloomfield.
Audra was right. I said it.
Who shared it? Thank you, Michael. That was very cool.
All right, guys, we appreciate you stopping by. Adam, thanks for stopping by with us. Everybody, check out Adam's TikTok and YouTube page, and make sure you check everything out to go see that his full documentary of the infestation. That'd be really neat to watch. We're going to check it out too. And we will see you all, guys. We will see all you guys next week. And remember, if you want to be like Adam and go through an infestation, turn around and come back and say, spirits, you have to stay haunted. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you next week.
Night.
Yes.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?